Did you just run from me?
Copy.
Sir, okay? All right, put your hands behind your back. No.
Can I ask you what I did?
Did you run from me?
Body camera video shows South Carolina police take the wrong man into custody after mistaking his license plate for that of a suspect's. Now he's suing the city for civil assault.
He was leaving a Burger King when he was mistaken for someone who was involved in a high-speed chase by the Marion Police Department and was pulled over and subsequently ordered out of his vehicle onto the ground at gunpoint by an officer with the police department and handcuffed, still at gunpoint, obviously giving him a really traumatic experience.
What was the tag, 80?
Victor X-ray uniform C58.
No, I did not. No, she wasn't. I didn't do anything. No, sir.
This ain't even him. But they got almost the identical tag.
You were chasing a black Dodge Challenger?
Look just like this. Yeah, you good.
The incident happened on November 20th, 2022 in Marion, South Carolina. David Wiggins says he was on the way home from Burger King when he was pulled over by police and placed in handcuffs.
Hands out the window! Both hands! You got anybody in there with you? Anybody with you? Take your right hand, open the door. I'm exiting one out of the vehicle.
Copy.
Get on the ground! On the ground! On the ground! On the ground!
Body camera video shows officers pointing their guns at Wiggins, who continues to say he didn't run from police.
Did you just run from me?
Copy.
Sir, okay? All right, put your hands behind your back. No.
Can I ask you what I did?
Did you run from me?
I was.
Copy.
All right, stay right here. Since you give me that tag.
Contact to a 2016 Dodge Challenger, last name Green. It's not a hammer. It's clear.
I was going home. I did not run, I swear.
After realizing they pulled over the wrong person, the responding officer apologizes to Wiggins.
Right here. You're good. That's scary. Look, I'm sorry. You got almost the same tag, same car. He must have passed you going through, and you turned off this one.
Yeah, it must have happened because we had everybody coming to do.
Yeah. You good?
Yeah.
All right. You have a good one, okay? I'm sorry about that.
But Wiggins' attorney, Marvin Pendarvis, says that apology isn't enough.
At the end of the day, Mr. Wiggins, for 3 minutes, for 180 seconds, he was in handcuffs, on the ground, face down, with a gun drawn to him, with multiple officers around him. He doesn't know, and he didn't do anything wrong. He was flabbergasted by the fact that he was stopped to begin with.
Pendarvis tells Law&Crime Network the traffic stop traumatized Wiggins.
He questioned the officers as to why he was being stopped. And they insinuated, until backup got there, they insinuated that he was running from them. He's like, I didn't run. I didn't do anything. What did I do? And so being on the ground for that long, he didn't know if the next breath that he took was going to be his last. And so it really, really traumatized him. He's been in therapy since then, dealing with the effects that this has had on his psyche and his overall being and his interaction with law enforcement, to be frank.
He says Wiggins waited months to file suit against the city to make sure his team collected all the information they needed.
It happened in November. We took this long to file the lawsuit because we wanted to do our due diligence, something that was not afforded to Mr. Wiggins when the officer stopped him prematurely. And so we wanted to investigate, to get the video, talk with people in the community, kind of get a sense of what the experiences have been like for motorists and people similarly situated.
Now they're alleging civil assault, battery, negligence, and false imprisonment during that incident.
Well, the reason why we filed the lawsuit because there has to be some measure of an accountability. While there was an apology, Mr. Wiggins and his family did have a meeting with the police chief, and they did acknowledge that he should not have been stopped and what happened to him was wrong. But they stopped short of calling for an investigation into it. We would have liked them to turn the matter over to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, which is the state agency that investigates police departments for misconduct. And they did not, right? They opted not to. And we believe that a more thorough investigation was necessary here.
Pendarvis says he hopes the lawsuit can shed light on the incident and prevent future situations like this in the future.
You know, the part of it is one, bringing accountability to that to make sure that we, if there's some things that are uncovered through the litigation part of this, then that can be brought to the public. But also to ensure that the police department ensures that if they improve their training to a point where they can recognize and identify people who are actual suspects and not stop and really cause harm to those innocent motorists who are just trying to get home, like Mr. Wiggins. And so there has to be some measure of accountability. And the lawsuit is the first step in trying to bring that about for Mr. Wiggins, his family, and frankly, the community of Marion. If you're going to stop a motorist, if you're going to take the step in stopping someone, pulling them over, and drawing a gun to order them out of their vehicle, you got to be sure that you have the right person. And so there's a due diligence that's on the part of the Marion Police Department to make sure that that officer is armed with correct information, that she's using the information she's given to properly identify suspects that are in the actual commission of a crime or suspected to be committing a crime, not an innocent motorist who's just trying to get some food and get home like Mr. Wiggins was on November 20th of 2022.
In the end, Pendarvis says the situation could have ended a lot worse for Wiggins.
If we don't do something now, then who knows if the next suspect is even able to leave the scene. Thankfully, Mr. Wiggins was very compliant. He stopped when he was blue lighted. He got out of the vehicle when he was ordered to. He did everything that we asked citizens to do when they're stopped by the police department, to comply. He did all of that. But what if he had made what was determined to be a false move? Or what if the officer thought that he was armed or if he was a threat and there were shots fired? Then all of a sudden we're talking about a much larger situation than we are now, and all because of a mistaken identity. At the end of the day, there's certain mistakes that cannot happen because the consequences can be deadly. And in this situation, it was inexcusable. It should not have happened. And we're bringing the lawsuit to bring about justice and accountability for Mr. Wiggins.
Pendarvis tells me he's been in contact with the city attorney, who now has 30 days to reply to the lawsuit. He says this is the first step to bring justice to Wiggins and his family. Reporting for Law&Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.